Wild Guns Reloaded is the complete package. Multiple interesting playstyles, healthy enemy variety, loads of unique stages, 4-player co-op, playable dog, and just general style. The shooting mechanics are simple and enjoyable with excellent art and sound design for every enemy, weapon, and breakable piece of scenery in the game. Plus, a lot of new features were added to spice up the strategies for getting high scores. It's everything you could ask for in a remake of the classic SNES title. But even though I've put a fair amount of time into the game, I've experienced very little of all that. Because by a wide margin, I've been playing Annie on the first 2 stages for 8 hours. The problem stems from the scoring system, or rather the extremely single-minded focus of Wild Guns on its scoring system. The basic means of getting high scores is continuously shooting as many enemies as you can from one spot for as long as possible. It's very high risk, as enemies are constantly shooting directly at you, but points give you 1-ups fairly frequently, so that kinda offsets the danger. In all honesty though, even considering 1-ups, if you don't want a high score, there's really no reason to ever kill any normal enemies. Because progression in Wild Guns requires 2 things. That you wait for the level timers to run down, and that you kill the bosses at the end of those timers. Every single enemy before that number hits 0 is irrelevant to simply finishing the game. Level completion bonuses give you a few 1-ups anyway. If you truly don't care about getting a high score and just want to win, then your best strategy is to constantly avoid fire without shooting until the timer runs out. And that's not hard to do. Maybe you should kill a couple enemies if they become too annoying, but really the only time in the game you have to fight is at the bosses. Think about that. You either actually play the game, therefore caring about points, going for high scores, and dying a lot in the process, or you just don't do anything, generally have a boring time and get a lot farther in doing so. There's no in-between, no curve, no motivation for anything besides points. And because I'm unwilling to play the boring way, progressing in the game is a much bigger hurdle than it should be. Tiny mistakes eat up lives fast when you're going for points, so becoming proficient enough at a new level's pattern to beat it by actually trying to kill enemies takes up a lot of time. Of course, the game gives you infinite continues, but they wipe your score and don't let you save it. And since I've had to focus on scoring as my sole reason to even play the game the fun way, I can't use them. It'd make the whole effort pointless. So because of that, I'll probably never see the end of the game. I'll just play the first few levels, trying to perfect them while chipping away at later ones, until I get bored with Wild Guns for good, since there's no satisfying way for me to experience the levels besides trying to get as many points as possible. In a game like Metal Slug, you can also beat a level by just killing a couple enemies plus the boss. But getting to the end of the level doesn't mean waiting for a timer to tick down. You have to actually walk there yourself and wade through waves of enemies to do it. Even if you choose to not fight for a high score, you have to put forth some amount of noticeable effort at any given moment to progress. If killing enemies in Wild Guns was the actual way you brought down the level timer, then it would immediately become incredible. Because then it'd actually ask that a normal player get better at the fun part of the game. Not just assume that you want points for their own sake and won't try to simply beat the level with the most effective strategy. High score stuff could come after you've completed the game, and just be for the people that actually want to continue improving after achieving basic competency. But as for my experience with the game, I just feel tapped out. There's only so many times I'm willing to do the same couple of static levels over and over again, no matter how well designed, before I have to move on to something else out of simple boredom. It's just a shame. The basic gameplay is satisfying enough that more motivation to play it normally is all Wild Guns needs to have a rounded out and broader appealing experience. I think I'd even love doing all the score mastery stuff after having completed the game in a version where killing normal enemies is tied to beating a level. But without being able to feel like I've really progressed in the game at all, despite massively improving my ability to play a few levels, I don't even feel the desire to give the other characters a real shot. Even though their playstyles are legitimately interesting to me, because the same issues stand with all of them. Ultimately, I did enjoy my time with Wild Guns Reloaded, and I'd even recommend it to people who enjoy a score-oriented arcade experience, but I feel the diminishing returns after a couple of hours are far too high for anyone just looking to enjoy a pretty gallery shooter, without dedicating a large amount of time into mastering it. Okay, thanks for watching, doing one of these every week, just saying words now to pad out the video for no particular reason.